Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are taking a bit of a philosophical sledgehammer to something seemingly simple, taking a break. Because, in our modern world, this always connected world, finding genuine rest, it's almost, it feels revolutionary, doesn't it?
It really does.
We're going way beyond just like watching TV or scrolling social media. We want to explore the deeper cultural ideas and, frankly, the technological hurdles around real downtime.
That's exactly right. And especially for those of you managing, complexity, high stress, understanding how to actually switch off is just critical.
Right.
So our mission here is to frame relaxation maybe not as a luxury, which I think sometimes it feels like, but as this necessary psychological process. We call it decompression.
Decompression. Okay, that's quite an intense word. But I get it. It sort of captures that mental shift we need to make probably every single day.
Precisely. Think about it almost like a deep sea diver, right? If you've been operating way down in that high pressure zone work, deadlines, constant information, you can't just shoot straight back to the surface to relaxation.
No, you'd get the bends.
Yeah.
Metaphorically. Sorry.
Exactly. Metaphorically, yeah. You need a structured, kind of gradual return. Decompression is that deliberate psychological shift, moving from the high pressure work reality back to the lower pressure, more, autonomous space of home.
And without that, you might be physically home, but your brain is still down there, still at depth.
That's it. Still operating under pressure.
Okay, that really clarifies the stakes. So to help you, our listener, get a handle on this, we've structured this deep dive around, maybe two opposing forces. First, we'll examine a really interesting cultural antidote to all this modern pressure of the philosophy of Hegel.
Right.
And second, we have to dissect the constant technological intrusion that's actively working against our ability to decompress, that always-on culture.
Right.
Okay, let's start with that antidote then. Hygge. Hygge. It's become, very commercialized lately.
Oh, definitely.
We all kind of recognize the look, right?
Really?
The cozy blankets, the nice lighting, maybe some artisanal coffee.
The aesthetic, yeah.
But I suspect if we just focus on the props, we're totally missing the point. There's something deeper, more revolutionary in what the Danes are actually doing.
Absolutely. Those physical things, they're tools, really. The substance is psychological. Hygge is fundamentally a state of being. It's centered on, two key things. Cozy contentment.
Cozy contentment.
Yeah, like a deep, quiet, peaceful kind of happiness you find just in the simple moment. And the other part is conviviality.
Conviviality.
Which is that warmth you get from just enjoying easy quality time with friends, with family, no pressure, no performance needed.
And that makes it accessible, right? Because it's not about spending money.
Exactly. The value is entirely in the quality of the interaction, the shared experience, not how much it costs.
I like that accessibility point. But let's dig into the context a bit. This whole philosophy came out of Scandinavia. Why? I mean, isn't that a place with like a strong welfare state, pretty high economic stability? Why would they need such a deliberate practice for coziness?
That's a great question. Because it's really a form of collective psychological resilience. Think about it. Scandinavian countries, they face these really long, dark, often quite harsh winters.
Right. Seasonal affective disorder must be a real thing.
Exactly. So Hygge seems to have developed as this sort of proactive social strategy, a way to combat SAD, yes, but also the isolation that can creep in during months of relative darkness.
So if the outside world is literally cold and draining,
you have to get really good at creating internal light and warmth. It's about fostering social connection, ensuring mental stability when things are tough externally.
Okay, that completely reframes it for me. It's not just individual self-care, it's almost a societal survival tool.
In a way, yes.
So if we look at Hygge through the lens of our modern global culture, what is it fundamentally pushing back against? What's it rejecting?
Well, I think it's a profound and, importantly, a conscious rejection of stress. And specifically, the kind of relentless hustle culture that seems to dominate everything now.
The always be productive mindset.
Precisely. Hygge inherently says your worth is not tied to your productivity. It champions simple, immediate, often quite passive pleasures. A slow meal, reading quietly, even just comfortable silence with someone.
Over constantly chasing the next achievement.
Exactly. It's an active choice to just be present, to feel relaxed, and importantly, to feel safe.
Okay, I have to push back just a little here, though. For someone listening who is, high achieving, maybe in a demanding field, is it actually realistic to adopt Hygge wholesale? Isn't the danger that we just end up, buying the nice candles and the throws
The aesthetic.
without actually committing to the harder parts, like the low ego social stuff, or really prioritizing slowness over ticking off the next task.
That's a really essential critical point. Because true hig does require prioritizing that social and emotional environment over, say, your calendar or your to-do list.
Right.
It means sometimes saying no to things that feel productive in favor of something restorative. It means cultivating a social vibe that's genuinely free of, like, work talk or bragging or one-upmanship.
So you can't just buy the look.
No.
Yeah.
You have to actually adopt the philosophy, which means embracing quietness, maybe even a bit of idleness, as valuable in itself. It's about creating a space, mentally and physically, where your ego can just rest.
Resting the ego,
Yeah.
creating a sanctuary. That's actually the perfect transition to the next big challenge we need to talk about.
Okay.
Because if hig is the antidote, this sort of ideal state, then the biggest modern threat to achieving that sanctuary feeling is surely digital intrusion.
Absolutely. It's the primary force, I'd argue.
The thing that basically guarantees your brain never really gets to decompress properly.
Yes. That smartphone in your pocket. It isn't just a phone anymore, is it? It's basically a remote control for your cognitive load.
Wow, yeah. Remote control for your cognitive load. I like that.
And it fuels this always-on culture, this systemic, often unspoken expectation that you need to be available, responsive, 204/7.
The late night email check, the just quickly reply to this Slack message.
Exactly. And that constant state of low-level alert, almost waiting for the next ping, the next notification, it physically prevents the brain from shifting into genuine downtime.
Yeah.
It keeps your mental resources kind of perpetually half allocated to what might come in next.
And this is where understanding a bit of maybe the tech or psych behind it
Yes.
matters, right? It's not just the notification itself, it's what it leaves behind in our heads.
We really need to talk about something called attention residue.
Attention residue, okay.
So when you switch tasks, say, from deep work to trying to relax, but you quickly check a work email in between, your full attention doesn't just snap cleanly to the new task. A sort of cognitive hangover from the work email lingers. That residue makes it much harder to fully engage with whatever you're trying to do to relax. You keep that internal pressure high, even if you've put the phone down now.
And that's compounded by the little dopamine hit we get from checking, right? The unpredictable reward.
Absolutely. It's a classic variable reward schedule, just like a slot machine. It trains us neurologically to keep checking compulsively. Maybe this time it's something important, interesting.
And we definitely can't talk about these blurred boundaries without bringing up remote work.
Oh, huge factor.
Before, the commute wasn't just physical travel. It kind of acted as this built-in psychological decompression chamber.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah. But now, for many people, the office is the home. Those lines are just dangerously blurred.
When your workspace and your sanctuary occupy the exact same physical square footage, it becomes incredibly difficult psychologically to truly leave work.
Your laptop's just sitting there on the kitchen table while you're trying to eat dinner.
Exactly. That sheer proximity makes genuine psychological downtime, well, increasingly elusive. It demands extraordinary intentionality to fight against it. You literally have to build ritual barriers where the physical ones used to be.
Okay, so this overwhelming pressure, this constant intrusion, it's naturally led to a very modern kind of self-care practice, hasn't it? The digital detox.
Yes. The digital detox, it's essentially an intentional period of disconnection.
Intentional being the key word.
Absolutely. It's not about, suddenly hating technology or becoming a Luddite. It's really an act of self-defense. It's aimed squarely at reclaiming your focus, reducing that pervasive stress that comes from being constantly available. The goal is to break that variable reward cycle for a bit, quiet down the cognitive noise.
So what are some pragmatic ways someone listening could actually integrate this? Because let's be honest, disconnecting completely for weeks on end just isn't feasible for most people in demanding roles.
No, and it doesn't have to be that extreme at all. It needs to be strategic, sustainable. You could start small, maybe create a digital Sabbath, perhaps just say 2 hours every Sunday afternoon where devices are off or out of sight.
Okay, manageable.
Or even just commit to digital-free evenings. Maybe after 7 p.m., all non-essential screens, phones, tablets, work laptops are put away. Out of sight, out of mind, as much as possible.
You're basically sending a signal to your own brain.
Exactly. You're saying, okay, the external demands have paused now. It is actually safe to rest.
So putting this all together, what does it really mean? When we look at this deep human drive for something like hig, and then this very modern necessity for a digital detox,
Right.
Are they essentially just two sides of the same coin?
I think they are. Both are strategies fundamentally aimed at the same goal, trying to reclaim the home or maybe just our personal time as a genuine refuge.
A refuge, a place where psychological restoration isn't just, a nice to have, but it's actually possible, maybe even prioritized.
Yes. And thinking about how we use that refuge, that free time, that brings us right to a core tension in modern culture, I think. It's really about the philosophy of leisure itself.
The philosophy of leisure. Okay. How should we spend our free time?
Right. And we seem to be constantly pulled between two really powerful competing ideas about what good leisure looks like.
Okay, what are they?
Well, the first one is what we could call leisure as restoration. This is basically the Hague model we talked about.
Right.
It values genuine, guilt-free rest. It values idleness. It values what some critics might dismiss as passive hobbies. Watching a movie, maybe just staring out the window, simple recovery from being tired. The whole point is just energy replenishment.
Okay, makes sense. What's the other competing idea?
The other one is, well, it feels much more dominant and maybe more insidious in our current culture. Leisure as self-improvement.
Ah, I recognize this one.
Yeah. This model is completely fueled by that pervasive hustle culture we mentioned. It basically dictates that your free time must be productive in some way.
Learn a language, start a side hustle, network, read dense nonfiction.
Exactly. Constantly optimize yourself. Under this model, free time isn't really for resting. It's for actively increasing your personal capital, your skills, your marketability.
And this creates that awful internal conflict, doesn't it? Why do we feel so guilty sometimes if we just choose the restorative path, if we just want to do nothing? Why is there that nagging pressure to somehow monetize or optimize every single waking hour?
Well, that pressure isn't purely internal, is it? It's really a reflection of deeper societal currents. Things like economic anxiety, certainly, but also just the constant cultural messaging that if you're not visibly improving, you're somehow falling behind.
So choosing leisure as self-improvement might actually be a form of, performance anxiety?
I think it often is, yeah. People feel that genuine, pure rest is somehow inherently unproductive and therefore maybe even a threat to their future security or success. The intrinsic value of just being idle, of quiet contemplation, it feels like it's been almost entirely stripped away in many parts of our culture.
Which means
Wow.
the choice we make about how we relax, whether we lean more towards pure restoration or towards self-improvement, that choice is actually a profound reflection of how much we've internalized all that external pressure.
Absolutely.
You're basically saying relaxation isn't passive at all.
Not in today's world, no. It's arguably one of the most active forms of decision-making you can engage in when it comes to your own well-being.
How so?
Because it requires the conscious management of your finite mental energy. It requires the deliberate decision to prioritize your recovery, your decompression, ahead of all those external demands for constant optimization and productivity.
So paradoxically, maybe.
Yeah.
Sometimes the absolute highest return on investment you can make for your professional life, for your effectiveness, is actually choosing a moment of pure guilt-free Hague.
Yeah.
Just stopping.
Precisely. Allowing yourself that restoration. Hashtag tag outro.
So just to quickly summarize our journey today, we really tried to move beyond just the surface definitions. We analyzed the cultural strategy behind Hague, seeing it as a system for collective psychological resilience.
Right.
Then we looked squarely at the modern threat. The always-on culture, the real cognitive costs of constant digital intrusion, things like attention residue. And finally, we looked at the strategic defense, the digital detox, and really exposed that underlying tension we all feel between rest for restoration versus rest for self-improvement.
And hopefully, by mastering some of this language, concepts like decompression, attention residue, digital intrusion, and the difference between leisure as restoration versus self-improvement, you, our listener, are now better equipped, not just to talk about your well-being, but to actually plan your downtime with real intentionality, maybe more sophistication. You understand the forces you're up against.
Yeah. And that leaves us, as always, with a final provocative thought for you to perhaps mull over this week. In a world that is constantly, relentlessly demanding your attention and often measures your worth by your sheer output, are you consciously, actively cultivating your home, your personal time, as a true sanctuary? Or are you maybe passively letting the digital world, the world of work and expectation, fully intrude on the very time and space you need most for that crucial decompression?
Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about. Until next time, we hope you find some moments to genuinely, truly switch off. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something I think we all need, the perfect outdoor reset.
Yeah, absolutely. We all get that feeling, right? Just overwhelmed with information, maybe staring at screens too long.
Exactly. And we're looking at how, language, culture, even psychology all come together to give your mind a proper break when you actually step outside.
That's the plan. We want to move beyond just sort of listing activities like I took a walk.
Right.
We want to give you the words to really talk about that feeling of recovery and maybe understand a bit of the why behind it. Why 10 minutes in nature can sometimes do more for your focus than, say, an hour scrolling on the sofa.
Okay, let's unpack this. So we're connecting the really simple verbs we use every day to some pretty advanced ideas like attention restoration theory.
Essentially building a kind of blueprint, both linguistic and psychological, for finding that calm.
Okay, so where do we start? The simple stuff.
Let's start right there. The low effort, high return activities, we know the basics.
Okay.
Sitting in the park, maybe having a picnic, going for a walk.
Sure. Common things.
But the language around the type of walk you take is, well, it's actually quite important. It signals the kind of mental rest you're aiming for.
Ah, okay. So more than just walking. We found a couple of really good verbs for this. To stroll and to wander.
Exactly. They sound similar, but they hint at different intentions, almost like instructions to your brain.
How so? What's the difference then?
Well, to stroll, that's walking slowly, calmly, without a big rush. It's relaxed, definitely, but there's usually still a gentle purpose, maybe heading towards a specific bench or the coffee shop.
Right, a relaxed intention, as you said.
Yeah, but to wander, that feels even more free, doesn't it?
It does. It's walking without a fixed plan, no specific direction, just letting the surroundings guide you. I actually love doing that, wandering around the old town on a Saturday morning. You always find new little streets.
That's it. That absence of needing to control the route or the schedule, that's the relaxation part.
So the language reflects the mental state.
Precisely. Heavy concentration, like focusing on work, really taxes the brain, specifically the prefrontal cortex. A walk helps, sure, but that specific mindset of wandering, no goal, no timetable, it tells the brain's focus mechanism, okay, you can stand down for a bit.
That makes sense. But I wonder, if your mind's already racing, feeling stressed, could that complete lack of structure in wandering feel a bit chaotic, maybe even add anxiety for some people?
That's a really good point. And yes, the sources do touch on that. If pure aimless wandering feels like too much, like it adds to the overwhelm, that's when you lean into structure, but like gentle structure.
So back to strolling.
Exactly. Strolling is the perfect middle ground. You have a soft goal, reach the park, get to the river, but zero time pressure. It's applying just enough structure to relaxation to make it feel safe and calming, not aimless.
Okay, that leads us nicely into structuring downtime, because sometimes you need a bit of a plan, right? Using those sequencing words like first, then, after that, finally. They aren't just for essays, are they?
Not at all. They help create a flow, something predictable and intentional, which can be incredibly calming in itself, especially on a day off when you want to reset.
Like building a little itinerary for calm.
Exactly. A mindful itinerary. So maybe you decide you'll head out. That's a great phrasal verb, just meaning leaving home to start your trip.
Right. So you could say, first I'll head out for, say, a 20-minute stroll, and I'll try to just focus on the air, the light.
Then you might grab that coffee and find a bench outside. That's phase 2. Low effort observation. See? The structure itself is like a boundary against stress popping back in. You're directing your own recovery pace.
Yeah, I like that. And you often need that simple planning language, too, just to handle the practicality so they don't derail things.
Like what?
Well, things like, let's check the weather first, just managing expectations or setting boundaries. We'll aim to be back by early evening.
Right. It keeps the relaxation feeling proactive, something you're choosing, not just reacting to a free moment. That intentionality is key. Okay, so we have the action, the structure. Now, the experience itself. To really tap into that restorative power of being outside, you need the language to describe it, the sensory stuff.
Yeah, moving beyond just saying it was nice. We need those richer adjectives. Peaceful, tranquil, serene.
And specifics about the place itself. Is the air breezy? Is the park leafy? What's the light like? Is it shaded? Or maybe that lovely word, sun-dappled.
Ooh, I like sun-dappled. It sounds exactly like what it is that shifting light through leaves.
It does. And interestingly, that visual quality, soft moving light that catches your eye but doesn't demand effort, it's almost a linguistic hint at a psychological idea we'll get to later. Gentle fascination.
Okay. T's. And then there are the verbs for sound and sensation too, right? Bringing it alive.
Yes. You don't just hear things passively. Leaves rustle, birds chirp, water babbles. These are usually soft, ongoing sounds that ground you in the moment.
And what about what you do? You're not just standing there.
Good point. You, the person relaxing, you soak up the sunshine, you take in the view, you breathe in the fresh air. These verbs show active participation, even in stillness.
And when you combine all that specific language, wow, it paints a picture that feels relaxing just to hear. There was a great example in one source.
Which one was that?
It went something like, when I sit by the river, it feels tranquil. I listen to the water babbling and the birds chirping. I soak up the sunshine and feel the cool, breezy air on my face. It helps me switch off.
See, that's miles away from just the park was nice, isn't it?
Totally different. It makes you feel it.
And often, this kind of relaxation is something we share. But how we invite someone matters. It's not just about scheduling. It's signaling a shared need for presence, maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense. We know the usual phrases. Do you want to? Would you like to? Shall we? How about?
Right. Standard polite stuff.
And maybe the more informal kind of British one, fancy. Like fancy a slow stroll along the river later.
Exactly. But the point here is that when you use those invitations, maybe specifically mentioning strolling or suggesting you'll just tick back somewhere, that means relax informally. You're actually inviting them into that specific state of mind.
So it's like saying, let's share this calm moment together.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it works the other way, too. If you have to decline, the way you do it matters. The source is stressed, keeping that connection.
Right. Not just a flat no, more like, oh, I can't this time, but maybe another day. Or I'm actually a bit tired today.
Yeah. It acknowledges the value of the invitation and keeps the door open for that shared restorative time later. It protects the connection.
So even simple invites become part of this bigger picture of intentional rest and connection.
Exactly. And that intentionality, making time for this stuff, it's something lots of cultures have figured out and built right into their daily lives.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Connecting these simple actions to the sort of bigger psychological benefits and cultural habits.
Right.
This isn't just about feeling good. It's about cognitive maintenance.
Absolutely. And the world has known this intuitively for ages. We found 3 really powerful examples in the sources. First up, Shinrin-yoku from Japan.
Forest bathing. Heard of that?
Yeah, it translates as forest bathing. Basically, it's intentional, quiet time spent among trees, specifically to lower stress and restore energy. And the key rule...
Leave your phone behind.
Leave your phone behind. It's about pure, intentional disconnection.
Okay, what else?
Then you've got fika in Sweden, which is often misunderstood as just a coffee break.
But it's more than that.
Much more. It's defined by the pause itself. A mindful break for presence, connection, conversation. Often enjoyed outside, yeah, but the core idea is slowing down that relentless pace of the day.
A deliberate pause. I like that. And the third?
The Italian tradition of passeggiata, that gentle social walk through town, usually after dinner. It's not about burning calories. It's a built-in way to digest the day, literally and figuratively, enjoy the evening air, and connect with the community.
Wow. So Shinrin-yoku, fika, passeggiata, all different, but all about intentional habits for well-being.
Exactly. They institutionalize moments of cognitive rest and connection, and there's solid science behind why this works so well. It's called attention restoration theory, or ART-T.
Okay, ART-T. Tell us about that. Why does spending time in nature actually improve focus?
Right. So the core idea is that when you're in nature, your mind gets to rest without you having to consciously try to relax. It happens almost automatically through something called gentle fascination. Nature has qualities that softly draw your attention, like that sun-dappled light we mentioned, or the sound of water babbling, or leaves rustling in the breeze.
Okay.
These things capture your attention gently, but they don't require analysis or deep concentration. Your brain is engaged, but lightly. And that allows the part of your brain that does the heavy lifting of focused attention, the prefrontal cortex, to recover.
So it's restorative because it's effortless.
Precisely. If you've been staring at a complex report for hours, your directed attention, your focus, is just drained. A gentle walk outside where your attention is softly pulled by the environment recharges that battery without you even trying.
That is a powerful insight. It's not just about getting away. It's about actively letting the right kind of environment heal your focus.
And the good news is, you don't need a full-on forest bathing trip every single day to get some benefits. The sources had some fantastic, really practical techniques for quick micro breaks.
Yeah, like 2-minute tools you can use almost anywhere. Park bench, office quiet corner, wherever.
Exactly. We pulled out 3 key ones. First, box breathing. Super simple, super effective.
The 4-4-4-4 thing.
That's the one. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, repeat. It directly signals your nervous system to calm down really fast.
Okay, simple. What's next?
The 5 senses reset. This is brilliant for grounding yourself when your mind is racing. You just deliberately name 5 things you can see right now.
Yeah.
4 things you can physically feel, maybe your feet on the ground, the chair beneath you. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell or maybe taste.
Yeah.
And 1 thing you appreciate.
That pulls you right back into the present moment, doesn't it? Away from the internal chatter.
Instantly. And the third quick one is the 2-minute body release. Just consciously scan your body. Drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw. We all hold tension there. Soften your belly, relax your hands, and then just notice one small thing you appreciate in that exact moment. Again, it's a rapid recalibration, kind of like an indoor version of that gentle fascination we talked about.
These are great, really actionable takeaways. And to round things off, let's quickly revisit some of that natural, everyday language people use when they talk about relaxing.
Yeah, those idioms and phrasal verbs. If you're just talking about relaxing informally, you might say you want to chill out or to kick back.
Right. Common ones.
Yeah.
And for the mental side of it.
You talk about needing to clear your head or maybe to tune out distractions for a while.
And after you've had that successful break, maybe you sat on that park bench.
You might say, I really feel like I've put my feet up today, even if you were just sitting outside for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It signals that feeling of proper rest. Hashtag have outro.
So wrapping this up, we've really seen today how the language we use for simple outdoor activities, whether it's a deliberate stroll or just an aimless wander, is actually kind of cultural code for protecting our focus, our cognitive energy.
Yeah, and understanding that idea of gentle fascination from attention restoration theory and maybe adding a little intentional structure like with Thurica or just planning your break can make that downtime so much more effective.
It really elevates it from just relaxing to something quite strategic for well-being.
Definitely. Those micro techniques, the box breathing, the 5 senses reset, and those bigger cultural habits like Shinrin-yoku, they all show that these aren't just trivial ways to pass time. They're essential maintenance for your ability to think clearly and concentrate long-term.
So the challenge for you listening this week, try to schedule just one really intentional, calm outdoor moment. Maybe leave your phone behind for 10 minutes. Just wander or stroll. And consciously notice one example of that gentle fascination, maybe how leaves move or the sound of water or just the feeling of cool air.
And that leads to a final thought to chew on. So what does this all mean? If these tiny micro-relaxations can genuinely begin to reset our nervous system in just, say, 2 minutes, and if proper attention restoration only needs that gentle fascination, well, how could we leverage really brief but frequent exposure to nature, maybe even just looking out a window at some trees or that quick walk around the block? Could that frequency, those little doses, fundamentally protect our ability to concentrate over the long haul? What's that trade-off between frequency and duration?
That is a really powerful question to end on. Something to think about. Thank you for diving deep with us today. Go find that moment of gentle fascination for yourself.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We've got this really focused set of materials today on gentle movement. Our mission, really, is to cut through all the noise out there.
Yeah.
We want to give you a clear, sort of actionable shortcut to the language and the basic techniques, for mindful movement that helps build calm and energy.
Exactly. And then these sources are great because they're not just theory, right? They give you the actual verbs, the instructions, the routines you need to slot this into your day, like right away. We want to make sure you leave feeling equipped, not just knowing stuff, but ready to actually do something.
Okay, sounds like a plan. So we'll start with the essential language, like the building blocks, and then jump straight into those 3 5-minute routines for different times a day. Okay, let's get into it. The lexicon first.
Right. When you look at the language used here, you see this pattern. It's different from, say, intense exercise language. It's not just what you do, but how you do it. The quality.
That's a really good point. Okay, so we have the obvious action verbs, things like stretch, reach, bend, twist, roll, tilt, rotate. Pretty standard stuff.
Everyone knows those.
But you're saying the mindful part really comes in with the adjustment verbs.
Absolutely. Those are the ones that tell you how to fine-tune the movement. Often it's about reducing tension. So you have lift and lower, open and close. And then this key group, lengthen, straighten, soften, and release.
Okay, soften. I want to pause on that one. It seems counterintuitive almost. Why soften? Why not just say relax or don't strain?
Well, it's interesting. It actually works like a cue for your nervous system. If you tell someone straighten your leg, they think muscles, activation.
Time to tighten up.
Yeah. But if you say soften your knees, it cues a kind of neurological letting go. It tells the body the goal is ease, not maximum effort. It helps get around that habit we have of locking joints, jaw, shoulders, hips especially.
Okay. So it's like a linguistic trick to prompt relaxation. Makes sense. And we also have the engagement words too, right? For when you do need muscle activation, like engage, tighten, or loosen.
Exactly. You need both.
Yeah.
So you might hear something like engage your core slightly as you lengthen your spine, then soften and release your shoulders down. It's that combination.
Got it. And if the verb is the what, the adverbs are the how, the feeling?
Precisely. The tempo, the manner. This is crucial for making it mindful. The instructions always use words like slowly, gently, evenly, steadily. And that phrase, with ease.
That's the difference, yeah, between just quickly touching your toes versus mindfully feeling the stretch. So an instruction might be roll your shoulders back and down, taking 3 slow, steady breaths. The pace is built right in.
Exactly. And hearing slowly or gently, that's your immediate cue. It means listen to your body now, don't just push through.
Okay, which leads us nicely into how instructions are actually given. Segment 2, following and giving clear instructions, usually short imperative cues.
Yeah, the imperative is key. It's direct. Stand tall, place your feet hip-width apart, keep your back long, relax your neck. It cuts through the mental chatter,
Right. It bypasses that, oh, should I stand tall? How tall? Maybe like this.
Exactly. It just says, do this. Focuses the attention.
And breathing instructions are the same, super direct. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Simple, but can feel quite profound.
And when you string moves together, like in a short routine, clear sequencing helps. It gives you a roadmap. First, roll your shoulders. Next, lengthen your spine. Then, take 3 slow breaths. Finally, release and rest. It feels predictable, safe.
Okay. But maybe the most important structure piece is the safety language. The sources really hammer this home. You have to internalize these cues.
Oh, absolutely. Non-negotiable. Whether you're teaching or doing it yourself, the message is always, if anything hurts, ease off. Full stop. And only go as far as feels good.
We forget that sometimes, don't we? The goal isn't the perfect shape.
Right. It's about respecting where your body is today. The mantra really should be, keep it light, no pain, just a gentle stretch.
Okay, so we know how to listen. We know the language of ease. Let's get practical. Segment 3, the payoff. 3 custom 5-minute routines. Ready to use.
Let's do it.
First step, the morning wake up. 5 minutes just to gently signal, okay, the day's starting. Start with the neck. Super sensitive, so slow is key. Look left, then right, maybe 5 times each. Then a gentle nod yes and a gentle shake no. Remember that slowly adverb.
Yeah, definitely slowly there. Then move to the shoulders, roll them forward 5 times, then back 5 times. Just getting a bit of gentle blood flow, easing out any stiffness from sleep.
And then the chest opener. This one feels great. Interlace your fingers behind your back, gently lift the chest. But here's that key instruction again. Soften your ribs.
Ah, good point. Why soften the ribs?
Well, it stops you from just arching your lower back too much when you lift your chest. It keeps the stretch focused on the chest and shoulders, not straining the spine.
Smart. Okay, next routine. The midday desk reset. Perfect for that, 2 p.m. slump. When you realize you've been hunched over for hours.
Definitely needed. Where do we start?
Hands and wrists, often forgotten.
Yeah.
Circle the wrists slowly, spread the fingers really wide, then just shake out your hands for like 5 seconds. Releases that typing tension.
Okay, I can feel that already. Simple shakeout, then.
Upper back. Easiest move is often best. Give yourself a hug, tight. Opposite hand towards the opposite shoulder blade if you can reach. And just breathe into your upper back for 3 deep breaths. Feel the stretch between the shoulder blades.
Nice. Feels good just thinking about it.
Yeah. Then follow that with 5 sit to stands. Slow and controlled. Wakes up the glutes, hips. Reminds your body it can stand up.
Ah, yes. And the midday reset even includes something for the eyes, which I love. We forget about eye strain.
Totally. Finish with a vision break. Look far away, out the window, down the hall, whatever. Just gaze softly for 10 seconds. Let your eyes relax their focus. It's a whole body reset, really. Great. Okay, finally, the evening wind down. Getting ready for rest.
This one's all about grounding, calming down, and maybe lie down for this. Start with the lower body. Point and flex your feet, maybe 10 times each. Get rid of ankle stiffness.
Okay.
Then, that lovely back release.
Yes.
Hug your knees into your chest. You can rock gently side to side or make small circles with your knees. Uses gravity to gently decompress the lower back.
Yes. Always feels good. And then we finish with breath, right? The special 4-6 breathing.
Exactly. This is the physiological anchor. You inhale slowly for a count of 4, then you exhale even slower for a count of 6. Repeat that maybe 8 times.
Why the longer exhale?
That lengthened exhale directly signals your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system. Tells your body it's safe to calm down, start repairing. It's like a little biofeedback trick.
Wow, okay. That makes sense. So as we're doing these movements, we also need words to describe what we're actually feeling. That's segment 4, right? The language of sensation.
Yes. Having this vocabulary gives you more control, helps you communicate. So on the positive or neutral side, you're looking for feelings like loose, light, warm, steady, grounded, relaxed, open, energized. Those are kind of the goal states.
Right. But sometimes it's discomfort, and getting the words right here is important, like tight, stiff, tense, sore, achy, tender. Hang on, sore versus tender. Are they different? I feel like I use them the same way.
Yeah, the sources make a useful distinction here. Sore is usually that general muscle ache maybe after exercise, delayed onset muscle soreness. It often feels okay to move gently through it.
Okay, like I worked out yesterday, soreness.
Exactly.
Yep.
But tender usually means a more localized, maybe sharp sensitivity, pain when you touch it or move it in a specific way. Tender is more like an injury signal. Your body's saying, whoa, stop, back off.
That is a really valuable distinction. If someone says their knee feels tender, that's very different from my quads feel sore.
Totally different. And knowing this helps in social situations too. If someone invites you to do something active, you can describe how you're feeling to set boundaries politely.
Right. You can use those invitation phrases. Do you want to do a light stretch? Or fancy a gentle walk?
Mm-hmm. And you need phrases for adjusting or declining. You could say, I'd love to. Can we keep it pretty gentle, though? Or maybe, thanks, but I think I'll pass this time. My back's a bit stiff today.
Clear and polite. Okay. And then there are those common phrasal verbs we use all the time with movement.
Yeah, the everyday ones. You warm up first, and you ease into the main part, and you always cool down at the end. Standard flow.
And the crucial safety one, if something feels wrong, you back off. Reduce the intensity. Don't push through sharp pain.
Right. And maybe the most important phrase, the one that sums it all up, tune in to your body. Pay attention to those sensations we just talked about.
That phrase, tune into your body, that's a perfect bridge to our last segment. Looking at the deeper context, we're not just moving muscles, we're actually training our awareness systems.
Exactly. Let's touch on the cultural roots first. Where do these ideas come from? The sources highlight 3 big ones.
Okay.
There's yoga from India, fundamentally about uniting breath, body, and attention. The idea that movement is a practice of presence.
Right. Then Tai Chi and Qigong from China, known for those slow, flowing, very controlled movements, all about cultivating internal balance, calm energy. You really can't rush them.
No, you can't. And then a more modern, practical one. Nordic, walking from Scandinavia. Using poles, which kind of encourages a rhythmic stride and better posture. Different origins, but they all share that core idea. Slow down, pay attention, align yourself.
And what's really interesting is how these practices boost body awareness. They improve something called interoception.
Yeah, interoception. That's basically your ability to notice signals from inside your body. Your heartbeat, breath rate, temperature, hunger, that sort of thing. Your internal landscape.
Yeah.
Mindful movement sharpens your ability to sense those signals.
Okay. And the second one is proprioception.
Proprioception. That's your sense of where your body parts are in space without having to look. It's how you balance, how you coordinate movement, how you know your posture. When you do that slow neck tilt in the morning routine, you're directly training your proprioception.
Got it. So how do these two connect in mindful movement?
Well, here's the cool part, the synthesis. Mindful movement enhances both. When you move slowly and gently, like we've been saying.
Right, using those instructions.
Exactly. You become more aware of internal sensations like slight discomfort or ease, that's interoception improving. And at the same time, your sense of balance and alignment gets better. That's proprioception.
Okay.
And when you combine that awareness with tools like the calming 4-6 breath, you're actively teaching your nervous system how to find balance and relax itself, even when things are stressful.
Yeah.
It's a powerful feedback loop for self-regulation.
Wow. Okay. So let's wrap this up. We've covered a lot, the specific language, the instructions, those 3 practical routines, and now this deeper science of body awareness.
Yeah, and the core message is really about simplicity, isn't it? Focus on those calming breath patterns, especially that longer exhale, the 4-6 rhythm. And remember those key posture cues. Feet grounded, spine long, jaw unclenched, breath steady. They're like anchors.
Right. So the challenge for you this week, based on everything we just covered, pick one, just one of those 5-minute resets, morning, midday, or evening. And try doing it once a day. Keep it gentle. Consistency over intensity here.
Definitely. And maybe a final thought to chew on. If you're actively improving your proprioception, that sense of where you are physically in space, just by moving slowly and paying attention, how might that sharper physical awareness translate? Could it lead to better focus, maybe more clarity when you're doing demanding mental work? Something to consider.
Interesting question. Okay, that's it for this deep dive. Until next time, keep tuning in and keep exploring.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into tools for, well, two of your most valuable resources, your rest and, frankly, your capacity to handle everything.
Right. Our mission here is to pull out the really practical language and those structured habits from all this source material we've looked at.
Yeah, giving you a shortcut, hopefully, to being well-informed on self-care that actually, works.
Absolutely. I mean, this deep dive is really about recognizing that you can't protect your boundaries if you don't even have the words, the precise vocabulary to describe how depleted you feel. So we're combining these, let's say, gentle techniques for the mind with the really clear English you need to set limits.
And hopefully secure deeper, more restorative sleep, which starts with the language, doesn't it? The language of rest itself.
Exactly. That's where we have to start. Because most of us just say, oh, I'm tired, but there's so much more nuance.
Right. The sources give us this vocabulary to distinguish how we're tired. We need that precision.
Yeah, think about that moment you start falling asleep when you didn't mean to. We have several verbs for that kind of gentle slide into sleep, right? You might doze if you're sort of briefly in and out.
Like on the train.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or you nod off, maybe drift off. If it happens quite quickly, maybe after a really long day, you might say you dropped off.
Dropped off. Okay.
And then there's a very informal one, maybe you just completely conked out.
Huh. Yeah, I've definitely conked out after pulling an all-nighter.
We've all been there.
But I wonder if most people really get the difference, in everyday chat between accidentally sleeping too long and choosing to.
Ah, that distinction is super useful. If you oversleep, it's always an accident, isn't it? You missed your alarm, you missed the train, there's a negative feel to it.
Right, a consequence.
But if you choose to relax, enjoy that extra time on a Saturday morning. That's to sleep in or lie in. It's deliberate, it's welcomed, it's not a mistake.
That makes sense. And beyond the verbs, we need the nouns, right? To define our sleep identity. We all know early bird versus night owl.
Sure, those are the classics. But the sources also really focus on the quality of sleep. Are you a light sleeper? Someone easily woken up by noise. Maybe you need earplugs or a white noise machine.
Guilty as charged.
Or are you a heavy sleeper? Someone who could sleep through a hurricane. These descriptions really change how you set up your sleep environment.
Definitely.
And then we have those great idioms for when it's time for bed. You hit the hay or hit the sack, time to turn in.
And if you're lucky and fall asleep instantly, you're out like a light.
Hopefully, yeah. And then you sleep like a log, or maybe sleep like a baby.
But the flip side, if you're stressed, you spend the night doing that awful toss and turn.
Ugh, yes. Which actually brings us to a really interesting cultural point.
No.
If we connect this need for specific language to the bigger picture, we see cultures all over the world prioritizing intentional short rest. It's not just about night sleep.
Okay, like the siesta.
Right.
Everyone knows that one. Midday rest, often in hot places.
Exactly. But then you get concepts like inemori in Japan. It means something like present while sleeping.
Present while sleeping. What does that mean?
It's that brief dozing you see in public, sometimes maybe on a train or maybe even during a long meeting.
Wait, so falling asleep in public is...
Yeah.
Okay, isn't that seen as lazy? Or someone might think you're faking it?
That's the surprising part. Culturally, it's often seen as a sign of dedication, hard work, like a quiet statement that you've pushed yourself so hard, you've earned that little micro break.
Wow, okay, so you're seen as dedicated, not lazy. That's a shift.
It is, and you find similar structured ideas like the qailula in some Arabic traditions, a short nap in the early afternoon for restoration, both physical and spiritual.
So the takeaway isn't just people nap. It's that intentional time for renewal is structured, it's accepted, it's deliberate in many places.
Precisely.
Okay, so if other cultures build in these deliberate breaks, how do we build that same intention into our own, often chaotic evenings? Because intentional rest doesn't just happen, does it?
No, it really doesn't. It needs a routine, a clear sequence that acts like a gentle, sleepy signal for your brain.
A sleepy signal. I like that.
And that's where the power of having a blueprint comes in. The structure itself is the insight. We don't just say relax more. We use sequencing words first. Then after that, finally.
Right, making it almost Pavlovian.
Exactly. It creates a trigger that tells your body, okay, time to shift gears. Moving from that fight or flight mode to rest and digest.
So make the shift predictable. Like,
Yeah.
first, dim the lights way down, put the phone away, like really away.
Yes. Then maybe take a warm shower, make some herbal tea, something calming.
Okay. After that, maybe some light stretches, some slow breathing.
Perfect. And finally, read an actual paper book, not a screen, and aim to turn in by a consistent time, let's say 10:30 p.m., for example.
And this whole routine relies on those phrasal verbs we hear a lot, that consciously wind down.
Right, relax slowly. And you absolutely have to switch off, stop engaging with work emails, social media, all of it.
Screens off. Got it. And the caffeine thing.
Crucial. You need to cut out caffeine after, say, 2 p.m. Remember, it has a half-life of 5 or 6 hours, sometimes longer for some people.
Right. That afternoon coffee might still be buzzing around at bedtime.
Exactly.
And what about the mental side? The sources really emphasize this worry list idea.
Yeah.
I know my mind starts racing with tomorrow's to-dos right when my head hits the pillow. It's the worst.
Oh, totally. That's why you jot it down before you even start winding down properly. Get the tasks, the anxieties, the emails you forgot to send, get them out of your head and onto paper.
And then
You physically close the notebook. It's like telling your brain, okay, this is captured, it's paused, not forgotten. You're free to rest now.
that physical act of closing it seems key. Okay, so this routine works because of, well, the science behind it, right? It's not just random steps.
Not at all. It ties directly into what's called the two-process model of sleep regulation. It's actually quite adult.
2 processes. Okay, what are they?
Well, one is sleep pressure. Think of it like a sand timer that starts when you wake up. All day long, a chemical called adenosine builds up in your brain. The longer you're awake, the more adenosine, the higher the sleep pressure. It makes you feel sleepy.
Okay, so that's the how much I need sleep.
Kind of, yeah. And the second force is the circadian rhythm. That's your internal 24-hour clock. It manages the timing of when you feel tired and when you feel alert.
Right, the body clock.
Exactly. And the actionable science here is pretty simple. Your rhythm thrives on consistency. So consistent sleep and wake times, yes, even on weekends, train that rhythm.
Weekends too.
Weekends too, ideally. And light is the main anchor. Get bright morning light as soon as you can after waking up. That sets your clock for the day.
And conversely?
Dim bright screens late at night. That blue light suppresses melatonin production and basically confuses your internal timer. So that wind down routine, it's your rhythm's best friend.
Okay, makes sense. Now that we've built the routine for rest, let's talk about protecting it, which means having the right language, specific phrases to talk about stress levels and advocate for our needs, especially at work.
Absolutely. This is where that vulnerability vocabulary comes in.
Right. Moving beyond just I'm stressed. What are some better words?
Well, you could feel under pressure, maybe overwhelmed, or just really on edge. If you're feeling totally depleted, maybe you're drained or heading towards being burned out.
And for the work itself.
You might talk about having a backlog of tasks, facing crunch time before a deadline, or, and this is critical, reaching your bandwidth or capacity.
Bandwidth and capacity, those sound more professional than just I'm too busy.
Exactly. It's professional, not purely emotional. And the structure the sources suggest for communicating this is brilliant, I think. It moves you away from just sort of complaining.
Towards a solution.
Right. Use the frame, I'm feeling X because of Y, here's what I'll do next, or here's what I need Z.
I'm feeling X because Y. I'll do Z.
And a key part of this is actually quantifying the stress. It sounds a bit clinical, but it works.
Quantifying how?
Use a simple intensity scale. Like, just so you know, I'm running at about a 7 out of 10 on stress right now. I need to take a short break after this meeting. It makes something abstract feel more objective, actionable.
Okay, so instead of just buckling under when a deadline moves up, I could say.
You could say, look, I'm feeling pretty overwhelmed because the deadline moved up by 2 days unexpectedly. To meet it, could we maybe split the remaining tasks? Perhaps I could focus just on the data analysis part.
Stating the feeling, the reason, and proposing a solution.
Precisely. And that flows right into setting boundaries. We need language that's polite, sure, but also really firm when necessary.
How do you strike that balance?
Well, you can start with softer requests, right? Could we possibly move this meeting to tomorrow morning? Or would it be possible to push that deadline just to Friday?
Okay, testing the waters.
But sometimes you need a clear, hard limit. The language should still be professional, but unambiguous. I really like the simple power of My working hours are 9 to 6, and I log off promptly at 6 p.m.
Direct.
Or the ultimate boundary phrase. I appreciate you thinking of me for this, but I'm actually at capacity right now. I'll have to pass on taking that on.
Ooh, at capacity. That sounds firm but professional.
It is. And offering a polite alternative helps too. It maintains collaboration while still respecting your limit. Instead of just, no, try that immediate turnaround doesn't work for my current workload. How about I get it to you by 10 a.m. tomorrow?
Right. Respects your capacity, keeps things moving. Okay, we've covered the routine, the language for boundaries, but sometimes stress just hits you, like right now.
Right.
The routine hasn't kicked in yet. We need that immediate 5-minute stress downshift toolkit.
Yes, the emergency kit. The most direct tool, physiologically, is the physiological sigh.
Physiological sigh. Okay, how does that work?
It's surprisingly simple but powerful. You take a full inhale through your nose, then right at the top, you sneak in another little sip of air, another small inhale.
A double inhale.
A double inhale, yeah. And then a long, slow, full exhale through your mouth. Repeat that maybe 3 to 5 times.
What's the science? Why the double inhale?
Okay, this is really cool. It's thought to be the fastest known way to voluntarily reset your autonomic nervous system, telling it to calm down.
Wow.
When we're stressed, tiny air sacs in our lungs, the alveoli, can collapse. That double inhale forces them to reinflate. Then, the long exhale gets rid of maximum carbon dioxide. Venting that CO2 rapidly lowers your heart rate and signals calm to your brain.
In under 2 minutes.
Often, yeah. It's incredibly efficient.
That's a huge takeaway. Okay, what about cognitive calmers when your thoughts are racing?
The sources suggest the principle of name it to tame it. Sounds simple, but just labeling the feeling, okay, I'm feeling anxious about this upcoming presentation, can actually reduce its intensity.
Acknowledging it instead of fighting it.
Exactly. And when you're just completely overwhelmed, spinning out, use what some call the grounding question trio.
Yep.
Ask yourself 3 things. 1, what's actually in my control right now? 2, what's the smallest possible next action I can take? And 3, when will I actually do that tiny action?
Brings generalized anxiety down to one concrete step.
Precisely. It grounds you in the immediate and actionable.
Okay, let's troubleshoot some common sleep issues now. I know so many people, myself included, struggle with that racing mind just as you're trying to drift off.
Yeah, the enemy of sleep. That racing mind really needs to be dealt with before you get into bed. Use that worry window we talked about, maybe 15-30 minutes before your actual wind-down routines start.
Write it all down, close the book.
Yes. And critically, avoid trying to solve problems in bed. Bed is for sleep. If your mind won't quit, get up briefly, read a physical book in dim light, then go back. Don't associate bed with anxious thinking.
What about that horrible 3 a.m. wake up? You snap awake and your brain just wants to worry about everything.
Ugh. Yes. First rule, don't clock watch. Seeing it's 3.15 just adds stress. Keep the lights super low. Immediately try that slow 4-second inhale, 6-second exhale breathing.
Okay.
If you're genuinely wide awake after about 20 minutes, feeling agitated, get up. Again, no phone, no computer. Go read something boring or calm and very low light that paper book again, and only return to bed when you feel the first hints of sleepiness coming back.
Retrain the brain that bed is for sleeping. And finally, the physical setup. Quick reminders.
Keep that sleep and wake time as consistent as you can, 7 days a week. Your bedroom needs to be a cave. Cool, dark, and quiet. Think blackout curtains, maybe a fan for white noise, earplugs if needed.
Cool, dark, quiet. Got it. So to bring this all together, the sources offer one final guided technique, kind of a visualization to help you drift to sleep.
Yeah, it's a nice, gentle body scan and visualization. You lie comfortably, consciously, soften your jaw, your forehead, places we hold tension, establish that easy 4 in, 6 out breath rhythm. Then you start scanning your body. Mentally release tension, starting from your toes, moving slowly up through your feet, your calves, thighs, letting your body feel heavier and heavier with each exhale.
Relaxing progressively.
Exactly. And then use a calming image. The source suggests a calm shore. Visualize gentle waves rolling in and out, matching the rhythm of your breath. That soft, repetitive image helps guide your mind away from busy thoughts and towards rest.
Nice. That sounds very calming.
So to wrap up this deep dive, you should now feel equipped with, really, 3 key pillars. First, the language clarity to talk about rest and stress accurately.
Right.
Second, a deeper understanding of why a sequenced routine works. It's a physiological trigger, not just nice habits. And third, those immediate coping tools, like the physiological sigh, for when stress hits hard.
Knowledge is great, but it's most valuable when it's applied right.
Absolutely. Understood and applied.
So what does this all mean for you listening this week? We want to leave you with a specific, actionable challenge. Prove the concept to yourself. For the next 7 days, just pick one of these actions.
Option 1. Set a clear 60-minute screen curfew before your intended bedtime. No phones, no tablets, no TV in that last hour.
Option 2. Do one 5-minute calmer technique daily. That could be the physiological sigh, a few gentle stretches, or that quick mind dump onto paper, just 5 minutes.
Or option 3. Try using just one clear boundary sentence at work this week. I'm at capacity. Could we move this? Be clear, be kind, stick to your limit, just once.
Pick one, see how it feels.
Protect your calm. Speak clearly about your needs. Keep those routines simple and steady.
Thank you for diving deep with us today. Now go set those boundaries, build that routine, and please sleep well.